Hey Axis and Allies players, a good captain here. Welcome to the Ottomans round 7 here in this game of Axis and Allies 1914 out-of-box rules and setup with no bid. Okay, let's review the French and British turn as quickly as possible. The French, let's go back in time. The French by a single fighter. This is a little bit interesting to me because for several reasons. One, France is a beast economically. This is really amazing. This is an interesting thing, I think. I haven't seen anyone do this with France. They've turned every territory that could be turned down here in Africa to French. So he's going to collect 40 IPCs at the end of this turn. It's pretty bizarre. And by the skin of my teeth, he would have collected 44, but for a little bit of luck on my part. Okay. Anyway, that's all in the future. So he didn't match purchases with the fighter, so he's ceded air superiority to me. I have 10 fighters on the board. He will have 8. So 2-fighter lead. The Germans have air superiority for the moment. Combat move. Oh, and the other interesting thing is he's basically producing a tank a turn, so he's on the warpath, which makes sense given the strength of his economy. So far, France looks good to me. Okay, so this is a little bit odd, but I think he was restricted by how many assets he had. So previously, I think he'd taken a loss with a blocker clearing team, and so now he's sending in this blocker clearing team at 1 inf, 1 artillery. Usually it's 2 inf, 2 artillery, or 1 artillery, and that's an 83% chance. In other words, you basically have an inverse probability of getting hit by AA, right? So 1 in 6 times you won't take the territory with a 2 inf and an arty. But with 1 arty and 1 inf, you expose your arty to destruction because you can't take the inf as a casualty. And you lower the probability of success by 8%, so it's a 75% chance of success. So he commits that attack into Munich. And he kind of, this is a weird thing about AAA. It records your undos, so you can see the person thinking and changing his mind. So I'll just sort of bounce around here. But in the end, he decides to consolidate his army in Alsace here, and then push the Burgundy army into Switzerland. Down in Africa, he uses those transports now to sea lift them into Transjordan. So he's got a very multinational force in Transjordan. Positions a transport to sea lift the rest out down there and moves his battleship over. Okay. Pin this. Remember this army in Burgundy. It comes back in a second. But okay. Battle in Munich. French attack. Germans defend. The French roll double 4. And the Germans hit. So that's about as bad as it could have gone for the French. But again, 25% chance of causing a draw. It's just salt in the wound that he had to eat a hit too. Okay, battle in Switzerland. The French have an armor here, so they're able to shrug off. They rolled terribly, but they still got what they needed, the 2 kills. So the neutrals rolled back at par, but it didn't matter because this tank was here. So yeah, France gets Switzerland. Okay. Place the units, and the turn is complete. But remember that army in Burgundy. It comes back in a moment. Combat move for the British. British buy 12 infantry. And let's roll on. So he kind of waffles around with his pieces here, so it's going to be really confusing. I'll just sort of articulate what's happening. What he does is he sea lifts on the western front into, I think it's Picardy. I think he ends up settling on Belgium. Yeah. I'll just cut to the chase. Okay, so he moves the British army into Munich to take it, ostensibly. And then leaves a British blocker in Holland, sea lifts in to Belgium and relocates the remainder in Belgium. So British are kind of have an awkward position on the West Front, but you know, again, that's me calling it awkward. Who knows? And down against the Ottomans, he pins the Mesopotamian force with a blocker and then consolidates in Persia. Again, over here, the Ottomans have air superiority, so sorry for all the coughing. I don't know. I'm drinking coffee, trying to make it go away. Okay, the battle in Munich goes about as what you think it would be, although the British roll terribly. It's all they need is one hit. The Germans do their job quite well again, and knock off a Brit. So, medals all around. Combat move, clean up, place units. That's it. So, so he had 12 infantry. He puts 2/3 of it in India. That's 8, and 1/3 up here in London. That's 4. And obviously, it's because he has 2 transports. So, armed and ready. You know, I might say something that he didn't reinforce or attack in Karelia. Maybe you didn't need to. I don't know. I don't want to sit here and waste your time thinking about it. So let's go to the current game, and then the purchase is going to be, I have 17, which is an awkward number to have. I'm going to purchase 2 artillery and 3 infantry and spend it all. And then we really want to collect 18 at the end of this turn. So here's what I've decided to do. This is sort of a sleazy move, but I'll show you how to do this sleazy move anyway. Actually, we don't need to do it, do we? Okay. Well, here, I'll just show you the sleazy move anyway. So you move the Syrian Desert Infantry into Mesopotamia. You move 1 infantry from Constantinople into Smyrna. And then the infantry that's in Smyrna moves to the Syrian Desert. So you're able to actually push through a contested zone. And you can do this for any amount of troops and whatnot. So, okay, 1, 2, 3, 4. So I decided on 5. Yeah, that's how I wanted to move it. So I wanted 8, 8, and 3 on the east. Blockers in Ankara and Syrian Desert. I needed 1 more infantry in Constantinople. I'll explain why at the end of this. Actually, they only have 1 fighter. I'm going to peel back. Yeah, I'll peel back a fighter. Yep, because we're purchasing 2 arty. All this will make sense towards the end. So we got 5 infantry in Smyrna. Multinational forces are great for defense. There's no way I'm getting through that anytime soon. Not so great for offense. You know, although if there's enough of them, it's fine. But anyway, this is phase 1 of my defense of the Ottomans. I have sort of a phase 2 position I move to when things get rough, but it's not gotten to that point yet. So we'll go ahead and do these 2 battles. Actually, let me make sure that this plane is not exposed to any transports. Can carry aircraft, you know, and deposit them on the shore, and they fight like normal. So yeah, we look safe. Yes, okay. Done out. Smyrna. Phew, just got him barely. Okay, we swapped for Smyrna. And Mezzo. Yeah, this is a smash. He misses. Okay. Alright, and then we done out. Drop it in. So the problem here is capital defense. The Americans could technically sea lift in 6 units. Now we have 7, so there's no... well, technically that battleship can offshore. So unless they got 100% hits. But anyway, the Italians could do a can opener. They could land a transport of suicide troops, brave the artillery, use an offshore shot plus whatever survived. It's just not going to happen now. I'm not averse. It's not totally unknown for me to play chicken with the capital, but I don't want to do that at this point in time. So so the worst thing that can happen to the Ottomans on the Italian turn, I think, is an attack from the ground and from the sea. So they could attack with 4 infantry, 1 artillery, and 1 battleship, and that now, especially since their dying infantry shot off one of my Ottomans, we would only have 4 back, so that would be 2, 4, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. So, yeah, it's 2.5 for 2. But they're not likely to take the territory on that turn. It would be the French that would move in and take that 2 IPC territory. But we'll see. We'll see if they do that or not. And if they do, we have counterattack options available. But anyway, talking ahead of myself as I usually do. 18 IPCs. That was kind of a decision-making point in the Smyrna counteroffensive. I like numbers divisible by 3. So if there's ever something to tip the scales, Smyrna, if I was waffling on it, knowing that it pairs well with the Syrian desert to make 18 rather than 17 again, and I was like, okay, well, I was probably going to do it anyway. Now I'm definitely going to do it. So it's just a little factoid. The only purchase that's not divisible by 3 in this game is an artillery. So that means if you have a number that's not divisible by 3, the only way to break it is to purchase artilleries. If you're one of those people that likes to spend every single IPC, which I'm not, then you have to buy artilleries to use up the spare IPCs. Okay. I actually didn't do this, so I'll do this and then I'll jump off. 7, 8, 9 from the landward side. There's no way he's going to do a seaborne reinforcement. I have 8 artillery. His attacking force will just be smashed to pieces. So, assuming we have air supremacy by at least 1 fighter, 8 and 8, right? Yeah, it's 8 and 8. Let's see. Yeah, negative 12. It's a terrible outcome. So I don't expect a British attack at all, at least not on Mesopotamia. Yeah, so, okay. Oh, there's one other thing, just forecasting to the German turn. I really like, oh yeah, the army in Burgundy. Okay, so he edited it on the British turn. This is a bit of a cheese move because dice were rolled. I don't know, the guy I'm playing he's a nice guy. I guess I wouldn't. It's not a good habit. It's not a good habit forming thing to do this. You shouldn't roll dice and then make major moves like this after dice have been rolled. And I think what is that, a 10-piece army? But it's towards the rear. It's fine. I'm cool with it. And I also think this is I know why he did it. And I'm glad, that Napoleon said, just, whenever your enemy's making a mistake, don't interrupt your enemy when he's making a mistake. So he moved from Burgundy. Burgundy is a great place to go because it can go to Switzerland and then directly into multiple different options to the front line. Picardy, this is a defensive move, and what he's worried about is this army in the rear pushing forward. And so he wants to have this reserve force here in Picardy ready to pinch it between Alsace and Picardy. So if my army comes Belgium, he has he stands ready to defeat it, and I'm okay with that. I wasn't thinking about Belgium prior to him making that edit anyway. I think now it's slightly more out of position, and I'm happy because my plan is to obviously we're going to completely smash this army in Munich, take Holland, and leave a single blocker in the rear. And so, whereas once they were surrounding the rear with French and British armies, we will now be surrounding the rear with the German army. And if they go for it, the numbers, I'll make sure, are very much on our side. So, hopefully that, it's called canalization. We canalize the enemy into the rear and hopefully have a good roll. But anyway, to be continued. Thanks for watching this. All the best from the good captain, and bye-bye.